Mortician would always cut off the body's clothes before applying makeup to the corpse, until the body was naked. This time it was a beautiful woman, wearing fancy red lingerie. Just as the morticians was about to cut the suspenders, the body suddenly opened its eyes.
Where am I?
Strangely, the man wasn't scared. Instead, Jack calmly tells her, "This is a funeral parlor. You're dead." At this time, the woman finally recalls. She had hit a lorry pulling a steel pipe, but now that she could breathe and speak, how could she be dead?
You were pronounced dead 8 hours ago. Your blood no longer circulates through your body. Your brain cells are slowly dying. Your body's already decomposing.
Seeing that the woman still refused to believe it, Jack had to produce her death certificate. It says clearly that her name was Ellie. Cause of death was a car accident. Then Jack took out a sponge and wiped her wound. Ellie asked him what he was doing. Jack said to her, "I'm going to fix up your body, so that you'll look good at the funeral." But Ellie still felt she wasn't dead. She begged Jack to let her go. She swore she wouldn't tell anyone, but Jack didn't care. He took a pillow and put it under Ellie's head. Then Jack began to stitch her up. Strangely enough, Ellie felt no pain at all. Halfway through the sewing process, the sound of the doorbell suddenly came. Jack immediately took out a bottle of liquid and injected it into Ellie's body. Ellie then slowly closed her eyes. The person who came was Ellie's mother. She wanted to see her daughter one more time. Seeing her daughter lying peacefully on the morgue, the mother shed tears of sadness. She instructed Jack to make sure her daughter was well dressed. After saying this, she was sadly ready to leave. Jack sweats in secret, rushing to cover Ellie with a white cloth. By the next day, Ellie woke up again. She was still convinced she wasn't dead. The first thing she did was feel for her pulse, but there was no sign of a beat. She slammed her hand down on the counter, but she still felt no pain. Ellie couldn't believe it. Was she really dead?
I'm just in shock. It's okay.
She wanted to pick up the phone for help, but the phone didn't work. She had no choice but to come to the door and scream for help. Just then, a van arrived outside the house. It turned out to be her boyfriend who had arrived. He wanted to see Ellie one last time, but Jack blocked him out. He said that only immediate family members could visit. Ellie could faintly hear her boyfriend's voice, but no matter how loud she screamed for help, Paul didn't hear a thing. In the end, because he wasn't a member of the family of the deceased, Paul was ruthlessly turned away by Jack. He had to drive away sadly. Ellie asked Jack why he wouldn't let Paul in to see her, but Jack said,
They just see you as a dead body on a slab. Only I can see you as you really are.
Seeing Jack's unusual behavior, Ellie was even more convinced that she wasn't dead. She thought Jack was crazy, so she hid a pair of scissors while he was out, and Jack, who had been out, knew nothing about it. After that, Ellie found the right moment to stab it, but Jack dodged it. She ran desperately to the door, but the door was locked by Jack. Seeing Jack approaching, Ellie raised the scissors in her hand, threatened to keep Jack away from her, but Jack didn't listen to her. He grabbed her hand and pointed it at his neck. "Come on, stab here." In the end, Ellie didn't dare to stab him.
Look. I'm breathing. Maybe I was in some kind of coma and the doctors made a mistake.
You died, Emma.
Jack said to Ellie that the reason he could hear and see the bodies is because he was born with a special gift to talk to people who are on the border between life and death, and in the eyes of others, she was just a cold corpse. Ellie didn't believe it. She started to go on a rampage, knocking everything in the morgue over. And yet, to her dismay, she still didn't feel a thing when she stepped on the broken glass. That day, Jack brought back a beautiful birthday suit. Ellie loved it. She also saw that Jack had put the key to the room in his coat pocket. Then he pushed the stretcher to pull the fresh body. After Jack drove off, Ellie took the keys out, but there were too many keys. She had to try them one by one. Jack, who was still filling up at the petrol station, didn't realize, but when he paid for the car, suddenly Jack realized the keys were gone. He knew something was wrong and drove back. That's when Ellie finally opened the door, but she still couldn't get out, because the front door of the villa was also locked. She could only keep trying one by one. She managed to open the last door, but Jack came back just then. She had to find a place to hide for a while, and she was prepared to fight to the death. Ellie knew that if she was caught, there would never be a chance to run out. Luckily, Jack didn't find her. She went to the front door again. She found the key in the door had been taken away by Jack. In her panic, she found a phone in one of the rooms. Ellie couldn't wait to dial her boyfriend Paul's number.